So when I was 12 years old, I got diagnosed with POTS or dysautonomia, depending on who you ask. I woke up one morning with an intense, unbearable headache anytime I was sitting upright or standing, which was super uncommon for me because I had never had a headache before in my life. And so that day, my family drove me around to a bunch of different urgent cares. Nobody could help me. They sent us to the Children's Hospital in Minneapolis, where I was put through an MRI. The results were kind of inconclusive, but ultimately they ended up diagnosing me with POTS and putting me on a beta blocker, the metoprolol, and kind of sent me on my way. And I remember that first year, I had actually been, prior to this, very involved. I think I was in like 5 or 6 different sports, was constantly going. You could say I was a very hyper kid, and it just kind of changed from there. Within a year of being diagnosed, I had dropped out of every single sport. I had started planning my weekends to make sure I wouldn't overextend myself energy-wise, stopped going out with friends as much or would cancel randomly, just made life very difficult. And very anxiety inducing too, because I could see how frustrating it was for the people around me. But yeah, so I had that for 9.5 years and would bounce around between neurologists to cardiologists to ear, nose, and throat to sinus specialists, just everybody you could think of. And then going back in rotation, everybody wanted to run their own tests. Everybody wanted us to fork out a lot of money for those tests, and nobody could ever give us answers other than to keep upping the doses on my metoprolol and asking me to continue doing exercise that my body just would not allow me to do, continue taking in fluids, eating lots of salt, and trying to make it through the day. And I remember that the only hope I really had was I was told that when I turned 18, a lot of patients grew out of POTS. And by the time my 18th birthday came along, I was actually getting so much sicker. At the beginning of this year, actually, I had been the sickest I had ever been. Every 2 weeks, I either had a cold or the flu or COVID, and I would be down for a long, long time. And so then I moved to college in this area, and I think my mom had told me to look up a dysautonomia doctor, and I found the Neurological Wellness Institute. I was impressed. I think a lot of people maybe wouldn't be for the reasons I was. Because I had been referred to so many different doctors, I really enjoyed the fact that they kind of brought in a little bit of everything from neurology and cardiology and ENT and all of those. And I also was intrigued by how unorthodox the treatment was. You know, you kind of have like your everyday, like do x-rays, CAT scans, blood pressure, all of that. But after the initial exam and Dr. Dominic was kind of talking with me through my symptoms and what could be causing them, I hadn't realized how little previous medical professionals had dove into my history and how I was actually feeling. And I was really impressed by the intentionality behind, the symptom actually isn't normal for normal people. And so I was just very impressed by the extensive testing and the focus on genuinely what I was feeling rather than just looking for something to fix. Unorthodox? You know, when you like walk into a doctor's office, you're expecting like all of the normal, like the stethoscope and the knee hammer and all of those, and you walk in here and you see like a chair that spins you around really fast that makes you feel like you're in NASA, or you see like a lot of multitasking with like card games or balancing, like catching different colored balls. Like, it's so odd, but it's also I thought it was a lot of fun, actually. And I found myself really enjoying the hours up until my appointment. I was really excited to come to treatment because it didn't really feel like a burden to do. And in fact, I didn't feel crazy either in my treatment. I think something I credit my improvements to was obviously to Dr. Dominic, but also the team of just how intentionally they were asking me every step of the way, like what kind of symptoms I'm feeling, when the morning I come in, and then when I do like a certain exercise, asking how I was feeling and pivoting if we needed to pivot. And so the treatment, best I've ever experienced. If they were primary care, I would totally come here. But yeah, unorthodox, but quite necessary and a lot easier than you would think it would be. Oh, this is going to sound kind of dramatic, actually. But when you have dysautonomia for as long as I have, you kind of start thinking about your future life and how to deal with it, thinking about like a 9-to-5 job, how to kind of pull out your sick days and your vacation days because you know you're going to be sicker than the average person. And you don't want to get fired because you need a job to have a roof over your head, and just the constant stress of trying to figure that out. Or thinking, I always thought a lot towards my wedding and like how I had to avoid a flare-up on my wedding day from like outside stressors or getting sick suddenly or all of those things. And also just my overall health. Like I had not exercised in so long because of the immense pain that would happen when I would try, and now finding my body like wanting to go on walks, wanting to go weightlifting, wanting to get back kind of the life that I wasn't able to have in my teenage years. I think the most improvement I've seen is kind of the clarity I've had in my head. I always kind of described it as like a blanket was over my head, or I was underwater. I just wasn't super aware of what was going on around me. And I couldn't have like really deep intellectual conversations with people like I really loved to do for a long time. And so now I'm obviously in college and I'm able to have those for hours on end, and be fully present with what's going on rather than being distracted kind of with brain fog or a headache or my body just kind of acting up in different ways. So that has been a huge blessing. I think for how long I've dealt with this, I have really come to distrust anybody who said they could help. And that remained true for the Institute when I first came here. While I was intrigued that they wanted to do a holistic thing, I remember telling Dr. Dominic that he had 3 sessions to prove that he could improve my symptoms or I was going to walk. I said it a little better than that. And he did, and it was really surprising. And I remember after the second visit, I actually was getting worse symptoms. And I was telling Dr. Dominic that I don't know if that's normal for every patient, but I remember like it was kind of an instinct, like my body was telling me to go back. And that third appointment, we were on the tilt table and he was having me do neck isometrics, and it was like that, and my head pressure and headache had just gone, and it stayed gone for I think a week or 2 after that, which was really shocking for me. So yeah, we kind of developed this phrase of trusting the process. And so if you are, obviously I only have the experience of dysautonomia or POTS, but as hard as it is to trust in another medical professional, as hard as it is to go through the process and kind of trying not to let yourself hope so much that they can actually fix what's going on, I'm telling you they can. It might not be 100%. But it's livable, and I would argue that you're able to thrive with the results that they offer you. So trust the process, trust the team here. You're not another check mark on their list. You are an actual person that they're wanting to improve the life of. So, yeah.